start recording. So camera's recording, Zoom's recording. This is first section of my FMP take 1. Okay. Welcome to my latest episode, The Galactic Dispatch, where in today's episode we'll be discussing two topics. The first section will be discussing the similarities between Harry Potter and Star Wars, because believe it or not, they're way more similar than you lots to think. The second section will be me ranking all the Star Wars films, including the spin-off, with guests of mine. So you get a better understanding of my opinions and what my taste in the Star Wars films. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to get access to more content like this. And also like the video as well, as it really helps my channel. Also follow my Instagram to get more updates from my upcoming episode. And I love to hear from you if you agree or disagree with my hot takes or my rankings. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Before I got into Star Wars as recently, I was a Harry Potter kid. You know, I grew up in a household where everybody watched all the Harry Potter films there, and even like my sisters read all the books. I even went to Harry Potter Studios, and I got this picture of me right here. This was taken like in 2014, so yeah, that was an old photo. That was me in Harry Potter Studios, and it was just me, you know, on a green screen broomstick. Yeah, so you can say I'm pretty much a Harry Potter kid and, you know, a fan of the series. So when I started to watch and take an interest in Star Wars films, I started to notice very similar like themes and topics in Star Wars that they probably taken from Harry Potter, or you know, Harry Potter taken from Star Wars. And the signs were so obvious it had me pointing at the screen saying, hey, hey, Harry Potter did this before. Or I said, hey, Star Wars did this before. So for this video, I decided to make like top 10 similarities between Harry Potter franchise and the Star Wars franchise. For instance, I will be going over the similarities of both franchises, like the characters, the plot, the settings, etc. Now keep in mind, both franchises are very different to each other. One's about traditional magic and a boy going to a magic school, and the other one's a sci-fi magic and a boy trying to take down an overlord. For Star Wars, I'll be only talking about the original trilogy, because I feel like that has more, you know, similarities to Harry Potter than any other trilogy. Now, with that out of the way, let's get through the list. Now, at number 10 we have the main protagonist trope. So, obviously, many movies and TV shows and probably any piece of fiction media has a main character. The main character for Harry Potter is obviously Harry Potter himself, and the main character for Star Wars original trilogy is Luke Skywalker. Both of them were orphans and were taken in by their aunt and uncle when they were babies. And they grew up in a lifestyle that they don't really like and want to venture on to like other places that they never been to, so they could be adventurous. Like in this case, Harry is tired of the abuse he gets from the Dursley family, like his aunt, his uncle and cousin all like treat him like trash. So he wants to go to Hogwarts to become a wizard just like his parents. As for Luke, he grew up in a desert planet called Tatooine, where he grew bored of his like farming experience and wants to be a Jedi Knight like his father, Anakin Skywalker. At number 9 we have the the main protagonist's family. Both the main protagonists, as I said, were orphans who were left with their distant relatives as babies. Luke Skywalker is left in care of his distant step uncle Owen and his aunt Beru as a baby for the protection from the Galactic Empire. And Harry is left with Uncle Vermin and Aunt Petunia to shield from Voldemort and his fame in the wizarding world. The protagonists of these stories often feel out of place in their adopted homes, as their caregivers try to force them into a life doesn't even align with them and they don't even want. Luke, for example, Luke is restless on Tatooine and is trained in farming by Owen, who forbids his leaving as he tries to, attend like an academy. Because he needs Luke to help out with the moisture farming. Meanwhile, for Dursleys, they are like extremely embarrassed by Harry because of his background and who his and her parents was. Kind of similar to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, since they tried to shield Luke from Kenobi, since his father was called, spoiler, is Darth Vader. And also they were embarrassed by Harry, who they represent their connection to the world that they want nothing to do with, and so they fight hard to stop him from attending Hogwarts. Although this was a failed because of Hagrid and many letters that was sent to him. Now at number 8 we have the villain. Now, as the main protagonist, the villain is a very common piece of fiction to have in media, and both the franchises are no exception. The villain in Star Wars is Darth Vader, a powerful Dark Lord that controls the army called the Empire, and has a deep and personal connection with the main character, considering he is Luke's father. Voldemort is a main villain of Harry Potter, and he is the Dark Lord like Vader, only he doesn't lead an army, he leads sort of like a cult called the Death Eaters. And like Vader, he also has a personal connection with Harry, but not since he's related to him, it's because he killed his parents. He tried to kill Harry, but he couldn't, so he gave him a scar to remember him by. Number 7, we have the sidekicks. Now, both franchises have 2 sidekicks who interact with the main protagonist, and their personality is very similar to one another. The first sidekick is a man who is just a comic relief character who's just there to make jokes and make the audience laugh. In Star Wars, that is of course Han Solo, and the rebel, the smuggler that helps Luke destroy the Death Star. And in Harry Potter, this is Ron Weasley, the lovable ginger kid that also helps Harry into defeating Voldemort. The second sidekick is an intelligent woman who always gets the group out of trouble and challenges the male protagonist's perception. In Star Wars, this is Princess Leia, another character that is the sister of Luke Skywalker. And in Harry Potter, this is Hermione Granger, obviously the friends of Harry Potter and Ron Weasley. It also knows that later on in the story, sidekicks engage in a romantic relationship with each other after years of build-up. So obviously, in the end of Return of the Jedi, we had Han Solo and Princess Leia be together, and in the end of Death Eater Part 2, we had Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger get together, and they had children, and they were married. So yeah. At number 6, we have the choice. Now, what does the choice mean? It means in media, the good versus evil is very common in media, and all humans can relate to because of their experience with living, which make their stories that center around this trope so compelling. Luke and Harry are often presented with an opportunity to choose the nature of their path they wish to follow. For example, Voldemort gave Harry a choice to join the Death Eaters, and together they could rule the world, and use their dark magic to like rule the world and make the Hogwarts a school only for pure bloods. Obviously, Harry declines because of his good heart and what his parents taught him, or what like his guardians taught him. At the same time in Star Wars, Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back begs his son Luke to join the dark side as they could rule the galaxy like father and son. Obviously, Luke declines because of his good heart and he believes that his father could be redeemed because of his determination. The fifth similarity between Star Wars and Harry Potter is the tools. With supernatural powers come supernatural tools. For Jedi, these are lightsabers, and for wizards and witches, these are wands. These devices gives the character a fighting chance and they have a psychic connection with the person who uses them. Throughout the Harry Potter series, it is noted that the one is choose the wizard, and when Harry battles Voldemort, the light beam from their wands are color-coded. Voldemort's light's wand shoots out green, representing his house Slytherin, and Harry's wand shoots out red, associating with his house of Gryffindor. In Star Wars, the lightsabers can come in many colors depending on what the character's characteristic is. Luke's lightsaber is green, representing the good in the Force, and Darth Vader's lightsaber is red, representing the bad in the Force. At number 4, we have the good guys. Both the franchise have groups of people who stand against the villains and help out the main character to defeat the enemy. In Harry Potter, there are the Order of the Phoenix, a group of wizards that bands together when a threat of the Dark Lord rises. In Star Wars, there are the Jedi Knights and the Rebel Alliance, who are a group of people that are against the Empire's rules and assist the main character, Luke Skywalker, into defeating Darth Vader and Palpatine. As viewers sees the good armies in these films, they are naturally must need to see the bad. Comparisons of similar nature can be drawn between the Sith in Star Wars and the Death Eaters in Harry Potter. While the Sith are led by the Emperor, the Death Eaters are led by Voldemort, aka the Dark Lord. They are both led by respect and feared villains who have command to use the powers for evil and to commit acts of war. In order to gain power, the members of these armies live for their villainous leaders and go to battles on their behalf. At number 2, we have the mentor trope. In both stories, the protagonists and their villains are guided by an older mentor who resembles a father figure or a brother or an uncle or any really. Viewers can get insight into both of these relationships and see where they differ depending on the nature of the character. In Star Wars Episode 4 to 6, Luke Skywalker is guided mainly by the ghosts of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, who teaches him the Force and who his father really was. Throughout the Harry Potter series, Harry is guided and supported by Dumbledore, who is a guardian-type figure for Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort, before he became the Dark Lord. Luke and Harry both respect, honor, and feel fondly for their mentors, but at some times they can feel frustrated with their instructions. Like, for example, Luke Skywalker in Episode 5 was training with Yoda, and obviously he sensed in the Force that his friends were in danger, but Yoda told him to just keep on training, but he didn't listen to Yoda and went ahead and help his friends. Now finally at number 1, we have non-characters or non-human characters. Now you might be wondering, what are these? These are characters that are not human, and because they're not human, they are very interesting to look at and will be remembered more by the audience. In Star Wars, the non-humans are obviously the droids R2-D2 and C-3PO. And they're also accompanied by creatures like Chewbacca and the Ewoks, who aid them in their plans, fight battles, and fly their ships. Similarly, in Harry Potter, Harry is often aided by creatures like as Dobby the Elf, who goes out of his way to protect Harry, and Buckbeak the Hippogriff, who aids Sirius Black, Harry Potter's godfather, to avoid jail time and persecution over a crime that he didn't do. These creatures are present in most significant moments of film and have frequently saved the day for film's main characters. Now, in conclusion, even though both the franchises are different from each other, they share a lot of similarities with each other, meaning that they probably got inspiration from one another. Well, that's it for this section, and now we'll be moving on to the ranking of the Star Wars film. Before we do that, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Also, follow my Instagram to get an early update on my episodes, and when I'll be releasing a new episode. And with that out of the way, let's get into the ranking. Cuts. There we go.
Bro, do you want my honest opinion?
What?
You need to redo that again.
Really?
Yeah, because it sounded like